Arya, grab a chumash, because we're going to do the book of Esther. It's in the back of the chumash. We're studying the book of Esther, Megillat Esther. It's so beautiful. You guys will figure it out. But we should reuse these. Save it. Don't throw them out. We'll reuse them. I don't know for what. You know, it's so crazy to read the book of Esther this year when so much of it is playing out in front of our eyes. You know, and it says that, but let's just look at this first verse and I'll show you how it's playing out. It was in the days of Achashverosh, Hamolech me Hoduvad Kush. He ruled from India to Ethiopia, Sheva v'Esrim Meya Medina, 127 provinces. So Achashverosh is in Shushan Abira, is in the capital of Persia, and he ruled from Hodu, which is, India, and Kush is Ethiopia. And last week we had the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister of India was in Israel. The last week, the Prime Minister of India was in Israel, and the President of Israel was in Ethiopia. And so we have all these three countries, 2,500 years later, playing out again the destiny and world history. So it was in the days of Achashverosh, and King Achashverosh was ruling from Kush, from Hodu to Kush, 127 provinces. Rashi says, Melech Prasaya. Who was Achashverosh? Rashi says he was the king of Persia. Shemelach Tachas Koresh. He took over after Koresh. L'sof Shivim Shana Shal Galut Bavel. After the 70 years of the exile in Babylon. And I'm going to ask this question: well, if that's the case, what was Mordechai doing in Persia? Why had he not returned? Hold on, let me see this. Let me see that tissue box for a second, Aryeh. What size is this? Okay. All right. So the next Rashi says, "Hu Achashverosh." She is Achashverosh. Virisho mitchilo chilato ad sofo. He remained in his wickedness from the beginning until the end. He was wicked from beginning until the end. May Hodu got Kush from Hodu until grab a chumash, my friend. Grab a chumash because the Megillah, the book of Esther, is in the back of it. Yeah, it's in the back of the chumash. See how these guys? If you ever need anything done in your house, you call them; they'll get it done. From they'll be here in the morning, bright and early. What? How's the Norai going to do without you? Okay, from Hodu Kush, you have the place there. You have the Book of Esther. What page is it? Tell everybody. 1,374. Hamoech, hello, Jonathan. He ruled over 127 provinces. And Rashi says they were next to each other. Okay, so now let's look at Pasuk Bet. Arya, you read Pasuk Bet, verse 2. You have the place, Mordechai? What? By the way, Mordechai, this is your holiday. This is your holiday. Okay, go. What? Yeah, no, it's still a star. Okay, go on. Go on, Arya. Bayamim Ahim. Keshevet. Malchuso. Asher. Right. In those days, can you look in AI, Aryeh, and tell me where is the modern Persian? I guess it's the city of Susan, but where is that? What? But where? Where? Like, where is it? Where in Iran? You could go to the tomb of Mordechai and Esther. They have their tombs. They open it up on Purim. I mean, they don't know about that about anything.
In the Iran issued a series of stamps to celebrate 2,500 years of the Persian Empire, and they actually call it the Sasanian era. So, um,
Yeah, that's not Susan. That's Sasnian. I
yeah,
guess
I'm saying the Sasanian era, meaning that that's when, because even Rashi said somewhere else that Ahasuerus moved the capital from wherever it was to Shushan, right?
Gotcha. But so, how far is Shushan from Tehran? But save that tape. We'll use it to tie up his feet.
It's just like paper. It's not even tape.
And we got to tie up his feet. Otherwise, I stand no chance.
You want this?
Is that rope?
I have ate it. No, it's like plastic.
Yeah, we'll use it in the meantime.
400 miles.
400 miles away from Tehran. Okay.
It's called shush.
It's called Shush?
Yeah.
Sus?
Shush.
Okay. Okay. So now, so in those days when King Ahasuerus sat on his throne, which was in Shushan Abira, Rashi says that's when he had certified the kingdom. He had established the kingdom. He had firmed it up. He had firmed up the kingdom. Okay. The rabbis give another explanation in Maseches Megillah. I mean, it seems, if you read the verse, it seems what happened here was that he had somehow been able to establish the kingdom, and the way he was able to establish it must have been through a alliance with Vashti and her kingdom. I mean, that seems to be the logical explanation. Wow, so good.
You can change the color.
Can we take it? I like it the other color better, the blue.
You can do this, the purples. You can make it change color. You can make it like.
Oh no, that's a migraine. Then you get a migraine. Please, no. Oh, that's good. That's good. No. Don't make a change. We're gonna get a migraine here. Or a seizure.
Red.
Blue. For Israel. I'm Yisrael Chai. Yeah, but make it stop changing. I don't want to get a seizure. Okay, that's good. That's good, Judah.
Do you want the remote?
No, you're in charge of the remote. Okay, fine. Bishnat Shalosh Malko. Okay, you read, Aryeh. Keep going. Bishnat Shalosh Malko, in the third year of his kingdom, Asam Mishteh, he made a party we call Sarav Avadav. He made a party for all of his officers and his servants. Chel Parasu Madai. All the officers, the nobles of the army of Persia and Media. So we know where Persia is. Where's Media?
It's by Greece. It's not on the bottom of
But it can't be. It must be that it's part of Persia. Why do you say Parasu Madai?
I'm checking.
What?
Macedonia. Wait.
Yeah. I don't know. Must be associated with Persia. Apartumim, the nobles, Visarea Medinot Lefanav, and the officials of the provinces perform. So he made a party. Why is he making a party? It's called a bribe. He's just, he's giving them what they want. They want to have, basically he stole everybody's money, and now he's giving the people a party. It's the oldest trick in the world. You throw a big kiddush and you get a lot of people to come. That's it. So he's giving them a big party. Rashi doesn't comment on this pasuk. What?
It says near Kurdistan, Azerbaijan, Iranian Azerbaijan.
Oh, that's what they say. Media is currently Azerbaijan, and yeah, we were supposed to go there, but then the COVID happened. We were all set to be in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has a very strong alliance with Israel. We should know, so they're probably helping Israel. I would not be surprised. But surprisingly, Iran has not fired at Azerbaijan. because they know Azerbaijan is very strong. They'll come in and attack them. Baroso is Osher Kavon Machuso. When he showed off the wealth of his kingdom, Ve'es Yikar Teferes Geduaso, and the honor of his majesty, Yamim Rabim, for many days, Shmonimu Ma'at Yom. He threw a party for 180 days. That's a 6-month party. That's a 6-month party. So the Gemara Megillah tells us that Achashverosh was dressed like exactly, Aryeh, very good. He took the garments from the Kohen Gadol and dressed himself in them. And he was parading himself around in them. And some, it's very obvious from the text. We're not going to have time to do the whole text here. But it's very obvious that the contrast here is with the Beit HaMikdash. This is called Shushan Abira, that they have the wealth, they have the money, they have the courtyard where everybody's going to. And no. You need a Chumash. That's a Gemara. Go bring the Chumash, Judah. And in contrast to that, the Beit HaMikdash was supposed to be all of these things. So the Jews were participating in this party when they really should have been pining for the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash. And Ezra, grab a Chumash, Ezra. So that's what we're showing this contrast. We're showing this kind. Hey, Mayor, how you doing? This is excellent work, Judah. Proud of you.
Thank you, Ron.
I didn't know you had it in you. Didn't know. So we're in verse 5.
What page?
What
page? 1375.
1375. When these days were completed, Asa Melech, the king made for all the people that were found in Shushan, from big to small, so the king first made a party. Hello, Noam, how you doing? How many goals did you score today?
0.
What?
We won though.
No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your team wins. It only matters how well you do. Right? That's the attitude. It's not a team sport. Okay, I'm just teasing, obviously. But I will say this. I'm a huge fan of the YU Max because my dear friend Max Ackheim is on the team. And they won today, and he was the MVP. And if they get to be in the NCAA, they're in the NCAA tournament now. They're going to announce tomorrow where their game is. I'm saying this in front of everybody. B'li there, if they get to play within a 2-hour drive, I'm going to the game on Friday. Who's coming with me? Judah, Noam, you take off from school and we go to the game. This is way more important than school to cheer on the Yidden.
What day?
Friday. You coming, Ezra?
I don't have work that day.
You don't have work. You have fun. Fun takes precedence. That's what the story is. And when these days were completed, the king the king made for all the people that were in Shushan, from big until small, a party of 7 days in the courtyard of the garden of the king. So before he did a 6-month party for everybody, but that wasn't for everybody. The 6-month party was for the nobles, but this party is for just the regular folks. This was the garden. They had a special garden. And this is the irony because the Beit HaMikdash, you weren't allowed to plant a tree. And on the Temple Mount, to this day you're not allowed to, but the Arabs did it because they don't follow Jewish law. But the Arabs planted trees on the Temple Mount. But according to Jewish law, you're not allowed to have trees there on the Temple Mount. You go there. So now, who's going to read the 5th pasuk? Who's going to read pasuk Vav? Judah?
Yeah.
Chor. It's a big chet.
Okay.
Chor.
Or karpas.
Okay, this word karpas is, I believe this is the only time in the Bible this word appears. What? Does it say that there? I believe, Arya, can you check me on that? If this is the only time in the Bible this word appears, when something appears only once in the Bible, it's called a Latin word for that. It's called Hapax legomenon. It's 2 words in Latin. Karpas, Karpas, or Chafresh Pei Samach. But the other time where Karpas appears is no, excellent. It appears that you're proud of Judah. So it appears at the Seder. So the many have tried to say, is there a connection? Because Karpas at the Seder means like parsley or a green vegetable, and here it clearly means a just like a precious item. Rashi says these were types of garments that were colored and hangings. So they were hangings of white, fine cotton. So the word karpas probably means fine cotton here. So some say that what we're doing at the Seder when we have karpas is we're reminding ourselves of this moment in Jewish history when we rejected the return to the Beit HaMikdash and instead were seduced by the fine jewels, lavishness of Achashverosh. What do you have? It's the only time it appears. So this is the only time. So when you can sound like a champ at your Pesach Seder this year and say, who knows where Karpas appears in the Bible? And this is the only place it appears. It's very interesting. This is the only time it appears in the Bible. What?
That is.
Yeah. So, u'techelas, and of course, when we see techelas, we're immediately reminded of the techelas, which is such a, Mordechai, what are you going to say?
Israeli flag, the color techelas.
The Israeli flag, obviously, the blue and white, exactly, and exactly right, Mordechai, and this was the tzitzit, and the garments of the Kohen Gadol of the Beit HaMikdash, and many of the garments. So instead of using this special
It's
item.
the same guy that you showed us on YouTube
Hold
last
on a
night.
second, Deborah. Okay, Deborah. Instead of accidental unmute. Instead of using these garments for the holy purpose of the Beis Hamikdash, instead they were being used for this debauchery. He threw a 6-month party, and I promise you, this party was not rated G. It was rated very bad ratings. Achuz bechavle boots v'argamon. They were held together with cords of linen, and argamon is purple. Al galile chasef v'amudei sheish. And they were on galile kasef, silver rods and pillars of marble. Mitot zahav v'kasef. They were beds of silver and gold. Al ritzpat bahat v'sheish dar v'socharet. On a floor of marble and linen and darvis ocharas. We have to see what these things are, but it's basically opulent. So there's just tremendous opulence. Let's see what Rashi.
Translation for shesh is just the color of linen. So it says marble or alabaster.
Yeah, okay, so very nice. Let's see what Rashi says. Excellent. Rashi says, Achuz b'chavei boots v'argaman. These were like sheets, Rashi says, that they were hangings. Otem peres vayuam u'matzot. They were for like beddings. Achuz b'chavei boots, Rashi says, mirukamim, which are woven, b'psilei boots v'argaman, with strings of boots and argaman. And mitot zahav kasef, they had places for them to sit on for the meal, which were made out of gold and silver. On the floor of Bahat Vashesh, Rashi says these are types of precious stones. And that was their name. Their name was Bahat Vashesh. So as Rabbi Yosef said, it wasn't linen, but the stone was called Shesh. Okay, and now this pasuk, when you read this pasuk, the next verse here, I know you read it, it's read to the tune of Echa, because the utensils that were being used were from the temple.
We still on 5.
We're on 7. Vashkot. You see it? You see it? No.
Zion?
Yeah, Zion.
Okay, yeah. Vash.
Yeah. Vashkot.
Vashkot b'chlei zahav v'chelim מכלים שונים ויין
Right. Vashkot b'chlei zahav. The drinks were brought out in golden utensils. V'chelim, and the utensils mikelim shonim, different utensils. We'll see what that means. V'yein malchut, and the royal wine, Rav, there was a lot of it. Kiyad hamelch, like the wealth of the king. Let's see what Rashi says. Vashkot b'chlei zahav, to pour. They drank from golden utensils. Each one was different. And the rabbis expounded that, Rashi just says the rabbis expounded what they expounded, but what the rabbis said about this in the Gemara Megillah was that he used the utensils of the Beit HaMikdash to serve. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Like if we had the utensils of the Beit HaMikdash and somebody's just using it at a party, you know what it'd be like? It'd be like if I'm just trying to give you like a real example. It's very painful, but just to make it, Persia was the enemy of the Jewish people, presumably, and they took these utensils, and it would be like if we rebuilt the Beis HaMikdash today, and the utensils were being used in places like Gaza or Iran. Can you imagine if there was a Beis HaMikdash today, and then it was destroyed, and then they took the utensils to Iran? And the nut jobs over there, the murderers, were using our utensils to serve their state meals. Can you imagine how painful it was? But the Jews were participating in that meal. And that's how quickly they forgot what their responsibility was. So that's why this is read to the sad tune. Okay. V'yein malchus Rav, there's a lot. And a rabbi said about this, that he served each one of them wine which was older than the person. So let's say I'm 51, which is not let's say, I am 51. Let's say somebody my age was at the party, he gave him wine that was at least 52 years old. Supposedly is good wine. I can't drink any wine. I don't like wine. Okay, who wants to read the next verse? Anybody? Who's volunteering? All right, Noam, you volunteered again? You do another one. Vashtia. Excellent. Vashtia kadat. The drinking was according to the law. What does that mean? So Rashi says it means as it follows. The drinking was the law. There was no Ein onesh. Rashi says there was no coercion, because that's what the king decreed. I'll call Rav Beiso. According to every officer, everyone could do whatever they want. Rashi says this means that there are some meals where people who are drinking there are forced to drink from a large utensil. And there are some where they can only drink with difficulty. So therefore, here, everybody was allowed to drink whatever they want. There were no rules. I also read it like this. I read it like it was an open bar. You could drink whatever you wanted. There was no responsibility, no requirement. Everybody could drink as much as they want. That's how I read it. That's how I always read it. But Rashi doesn't read it that way. Yes.
Rashi didn't know about the Canadian army, but once a year they have a meal that only the servers are allowed to go to the bathroom. All the soldiers and officers have to sit for 3 hours, and there's beer like you wouldn't know it, and some of them wear adult diapers because they're not allowed to get up from the tables. So it's just like what Rashi is saying. So he basically puts like a colon. That the rule is there is no rules.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole irony. You're right. The rule is that there is no rules. We'll just do one more verse. And this is the whole key here. This is the key to the beginning of the Megillah, and you really have to understand this, the role of Esther in response to this. Gam Vashti Malka Asta Mishten Hashem. Also, Queen Vashti made a party for the women. Beit HaMalchus Asher Melech. Also, Queen Vashti made her own party. Why is that significant? Why is Vashti making her own party? Because what's going on here is a power play. Who's in charge? Is Achashverosh in charge? or is Vashti in charge? Vashti, we assume, had more money. She didn't want to accept Achashverosh's rule. And that's why when he got rid of Vashti, it doesn't say he killed her, but he exiled her, or whatever, or he took away her power. That's why it was so important that Esther did not say her nationality, because she represented a blank page. He was able to assume all authority over her. He didn't have to share with anybody else. So that's the key to what's going on here. That's the key to what's going on. Gam Vashti Malka, she made her own party, which is, of course, going to get the story rolling here. Just say one more thing before we stop. Something to remember as everybody gets caught up in the events of today and yesterday. How long did the book of Esther take place over?
What?
What?
Too long.
What?
9 years, no?
9 years. It starts in the 3rd year of his kingdom and it ends in the 12th year. So it's not a story that happened in a week or a month or a year. It's 9 years. That's like saying you're looking at the events of 2026, and in order to see the hand of God, you have to go back to 2017. Most people just will not even think about it. It's just over such a long period of time. That just shows that we need to have a long perspective to understand Hashem's role in history, not a short perspective. Or we'll stop here to have a mincha at this point. Baruch Hashem.